Hey guys, welcome to another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. Hey, if you know anyone that may benefit from the content that we provide, please consider sharing our channel. All right, before we get into it, if you haven't watched a video earlier today, the market review, market deep dive, make sure to check out the first portion of it as I go over both bulls as well as bear scenarios, thesis that I'm looking at, where I'm looking for the bounds, the key zones I'm looking at as well. That is crucial going forward for the next week or two. So make sure to check it out. All right. This is the weekend video where we're going to go through a ton of tickers. So make sure you are comfy and cozy. It's that time of the week again. Got my cozy sweater. Let's prepare for next week. We're going through a ton of tickers, looking for that golden setup. Let's get right into it. And remind me to do a recap if any of you noticed, because I did miss the last week's recap. All right, so we're going to start off with ABNB. First section is the top watches, whether it's from previous week going for next week or the longer term top watches I'm looking at. And we will add or remove to this section as suitable based on the time that we're in, the environment that we're in, as well as what the tickers are doing. So first up is going to be ABNB. Now, this is one of my personal favorite stocks. You know, it's, even though it's quite expensive, or some people may think is expensive, it's in the 200 per share range, but the volatility of it is great. It is amazing. From the low to the high since the IPO has been 81% already in 39 trading sessions. So amazing stock to be trading, amazing stock to, or even just for holding, because it is, I do consider it part of the vaccine play. Now, however, the inverse head and shoulders is no longer in play. And the reason why it's no longer in play is because we did break to a new high versus previous right shoulder. So this head, inverse head and shoulder is a trend reversal pattern. And now, because the trend has already reversed, we're at a new high. This is no longer in play. So let's see. Now we are seeing a bounce from the 0.5 as well as the key zone, in confluence with key zone. So chart is still relatively strong. We do see the bull volume coming in a little bit. However, due to the market, there's nothing that's guaranteed. Okay. So this is trading on NAS, and NAS is considerably stronger than SPX in my opinion. If you look at the last day's Friday's movement, NAS is green, SPX is red. So this gives the ticker a little bit more chance, but I'm going to want to see a break of this previous trend line. We got a break. Essentially, this is a breakout fake out. You're going to want to see a couple more days action. We are seeing a temporary bounce from 0.5, so it is temporarily strong. Next is MSOS. So that will remain on top watch. I'm going to mark them as I go so we can do a recap. Next is MSOS. So marijuana 2021. You know, similar to vaccine plays. It's a longer time frame play. Looking at this chart, it looks okay. This trend line that I was looking at before somehow got skewed. There we go. So we played this around here, entry right around that trend line bounce. Then from there, we got somewhat of a bounce and started bleeding out a little bit. So the chart is trading under the 88. There's not significant volume either way. Aside from that, there is a potential for a head and shoulders pattern. So be very well aware of that. Head and shoulder shampoo. And this being the neckline. You could also say the neckline is right here, around that $40 mark. So I imagine if we were to break this trend line right here, we would see follow through and then potentially a little bit of support between that 40.30 to 40.80. That $40 mark regardless. Then if we were to break down under, we will see further follow through. Now, essentially what I'm looking at is from the low to the high, GP, we are looking at a confluence, in confluence with the previous rejection zone. So right around that $30 mark, that would be the most ideal entry. Remember, there is a gap right down below. So wait, be patient. This should provide, if we see a breakdown, it will provide better entries. Right now is the environment to be patient in. Don't rush into any entries, but that will remain on top watch going into next week. I want to see the action price action development, what we're looking at, where how it develops, both ABNB and MSOS. Then from there determine what the more possible scenarios look like. Right now everything is a little bit more uncertain. So let's see. This is next one is Amazon. Okay, I'm not gonna stress about Amazon. It is still looking bearish. Look at this breakout, fake out on the wedge, long-term wedge, breakout, fake out, and then just complete breakdown. And then from there, we found the bottom. Previous support, you can see resistance, multiple supports here, dip down under, gap down under, immediately bought up. Same thing, gap down under, immediately bought up, and then support again. So that 29.55 is a very noticeable price that we do not want to lose. If it was lost, I would imagine further price action downwards. Next is NVDA. So Amazon not looking so great. NVDA, similar idea. Very similar chart actually. This previous trend line came back into play again. This trend line that was keeping us down, we're rejecting from that again. So chart still remains weak. Next, TSM. Oh, TSM. Kathy's been selling this one. So it was a daily bear divergence, and partially due to, this is a very strong daily bear divergence actually, partially due to Kathy's selling, we have seen an increased selling on TSM. TSM has ran amazing since March. This was what, 42? So it's ran for more than 300%. Oh, no? Okay, 233%, 40. Okay, yeah, 233%. Now from here, we are still rejecting from a daily 8. So daily 8 is your guide. GP, from this last move, the most recent breakout, is going to be coming up. And then most ideal entry would be around this previous stall zone. GP from the bottom, 42, to the high of 142. Right here. That would be the most ideal entry. There is still quite a bit of a way to go. We are looking at another 30% drop. So far, we have only dropped 20%. So be patient. Next is PLTR. Looking for that GP support. Friday, we did see a little bit of a bull action, but there's no volume. So would anticipate more price action downwards. Let's see what the reaction looks like at GP Monday, Tuesday. We're going to need to be there. If we get there Monday, Tuesday, would anticipate somewhat of a reaction. Next is SKLZ. Now this chart was actually surprising to me. SKLZ, Skills, the volume came in on Friday. Completely missed it. However, price movement was not that much anyways. So didn't miss much, to be honest. But this volume is very intriguing to me. And the double bottom, I want to see a little bit, to be honest, I want to see a little bit more. 1, 2, maybe 3 more days of red, making a new low, forming a bull divergence. So Skills is going to be on top watch. I'm actually going to move this one to the top of the list, top of the top watch. Skills looking amazing setup. We're going to want to see a new low, just a wick, just a wick, breaking down under to the new low. Most ideal would actually be somewhere around here, the key zone. Just like a big wick, a big quick flush. Those are the most ideal setups. Flush, wick, and then start bouncing. Confirmation on the bull, volume. Keep your eyes on Skills. That is gonna be top watch next week. Next is AAL. Ooh, daily bull flag setup. Ooh, this chart is strong. However, we are bull flagging right underneath that key zone a big key zone coming up where we can see previous stalls, support before the actual breakdown from pandemic. Generally, a bull flag under the resistance is not a good sign. So we're going to have to watch what the price action looks like on this. We are finding support from 88. But simply from the fact that we have ran 77% in 46 trading days. Huge bear volume spike back here. This is gap up, sell off. And then it's just been 88 hold. So 88 is going to be your guide. As soon as that's lost, I would head for the exit. Because, now let's see. This is the bigger run. Is this even up to date? It doesn't look to be up to date. So it was off by a little bit. So this is the bigger run. Worst case scenario, we would be looking at a backtest of this trend line in confluence with the key zone as well as the GP. So most ideal entry would be right around there. That's going to be a quick drop though. That is going to be a quick drop. Before then, we would be looking at around the GP, which is in confluence with the previous high that has been shutting us down from this trend line. Rejection, rejection, another rejection before the gap up, and then coming back down again, and a little bit of a stall around there. So this is no longer in play. Gonna be around 1863 ideal for first entry, and then following that would be looking at around the $16 range for the most ideal entry. Is there a key zone in here? No, not really. Okay. Yeah, so AL remain on one of the top watches, but not that important. Gonna have to see whether if the bull flag confirms. If it does, we will start getting extended. Let's see the weekly. We are already extended on the weekly, and this is a spinning top candle. So weekly is showing a reversal candle, potential reversal from here. Next is Exxon. Whew. That bear really came in hard, hey? Hard and fast. And ending the day with huge bear volume on this reversal candle again. Didn't get to the 1 to 2 extension target. That was interesting. Breakout, fake out of the 1.618. So most ideal entry remains at this GP. Previous high backtest around $51. XOM, we're gonna have to see what brings or what's brought to us over next week, because that volume is very interesting. Would anticipate further price action downwards. Downward price action. All right, yeah, let's try to reverse the same. Next is IPO. This was an interesting chart before. Let's see where we bounced to. So we bounced to the 0.5, and now we're rejecting from it. Seeing a bit of a stall. Interesting area to be stalling in. So Friday bull volume came in. To me, it still looks uncertain. Chop action. Long term. All right, so yeah, this is another one that I was looking at. So similar to Logitech. LGI, Logitech, long-term channel ever since the pandemic, and we have finally broken bear. Now, if you look how similar that's gonna be, right? Now, we had broken bear before, but got bought up. Somehow the charts messed up a little bit. Did bounce from the GP as well as IPO. We did bounce right around that GP as well, which doesn't seem to be drawn correctly. No, it wasn't. It'd be right here. Okay, we broke down under a little bit and then bounced straight from there. So it was right around the GP bounce. Very similar chart. From here, because we did break bear from the long-term channel, would anticipate further price downward price action. OGI, no significant volume comparing to IPO, so keep an eye on it. The 88, see if we reject from there. Next is FB, Facebook. it has been relatively strong versus the rest of the market or versus the rest of the big techs. However, it is still in that long term. What is this? Let's redraw this. A lot of these are not in play anymore either. Been a long time since I looked at Facebook, so let's redraw most of the recent charts. Never came back to backtest this. We did come back to back, so there is a key zone in here. I'm gonna try to narrow it down. This is a bit way too big. Lots of rejections, lots of supports. Okay. There's this. Okay, somewhere around there. Can see not too much at first, rejection. And then obviously there's gonna be another line right around. Nope. Right around there. Support, support, support. Didn't come back. Okay, yeah, key zone. And then let's see. Oh, we broke over the trend line. Okay. Okay, this is a bit interesting. This is a bit interesting. Broke over, having a bit of a stall here. So there's going to be 3 resistances coming up. 3 key resistances coming up. Having a little bit of rejection on the first one. I wonder if there is a trend line here. Now that we've broken bull on it. Maybe there's a trend line there. I think this is not gonna be a strong trend line. We broke bull over this on the previous quad rejection, and then now we're seeing a little bit of rejection on this previous two rejection trend line. But I don't imagine this to be too strong because it is sort of in the middle of the chart, whereas this one is a very clear pattern. And then from here, essentially it's a descending wedge that's broken. So I am going to be keeping a close eye on this one. It's going to be something like that. Let's delete this one. Yeah, I am gonna mark it going forward. Let's see what the higher low brings. If it's a back, so we did get an immediate back test of the trend line before the breakout. We are seeing a bit of a stall at this trend line. Gonna need to see follow through. There is a potential for a channel to form going forward, but we're gonna need to see what the higher low looks like first. GP wise, if we were to have a decent pullback, come back to the 0.382, it would line up with the upper trend line of the wedge. Three more key resistances before a new all-time high. The notable strength in the market. This would be one of the top tickers to watch for if the market were to reverse its trend to the bulls. All right, next is, what do we do? IPO, W, okay, W. Monthly bull flag confirmation. With 1.5 more weeks to go, I am looking at close in, okay, not in the new all-time high, but a close over this previous high of 349.08. I want to see a close over that, a close over the wedge, and that would give confirmation going forward. We are still seeing a little bit of a sell pressure coming, but we did get that first close over the upper trend line of the wedge. Now let's see a close before the end of the month over that 3 369. If we get a close over 369, that would be even more ideal. New all-time highs. We are not extended on any time frame, so this chart is ready to go. Look at the monthly bull flag, amazing. Keep your eyes on W. Next is, oh, there's a lot of top watches already. Next is PENN. PENN is uplisting coming Monday. Huge monthly indecision candle. Weekly bear volume came in. Bear action came in. Sell the news event. Excuse me. Was it Monday or was it Friday? Judging by the volume, it looks like it was Friday. That's SPX uplisting. So we did hold this lower trend line. That was key to hold. Consider playing this. How come they're different colors? All right, so I considered playing this on Friday on the touch of the trend line. That would be an amazing entry, as mentioned in the previous video. Huge bull volume. However, the price action did not see too much. There was not much upward movement or downward movement, so decided not to play it. I'm gonna have to see if you are in the play already. If you followed your plan and entered on this lower trend line, you're gonna want to see follow through coming Monday, Tuesday. First thing, okay, watch for the volume first thing. And next is DKNG. Oh, this chart looks so much stronger. DKNG holding that 88 again. So 88 remains the guide. 1-to-1. Oh, we did get there. Hey, look at that. Look at that rejection. So the last rejection was from the 1-to-1 of the bigger picture. Where was it? From this low to this high to this higher low, marking the move. So that is the key rejection, the key 1-to-1, and we saw a huge rejection coming from there, and then bouncing from the lower channel, the lower trend line of the channel, which was in confluence with the zone, and bounce from there. This was a perfect play. However, the bounce was not too convinced, because when I was looking at, by the time I saw this, it was over here, March 10th, we're around that upper trend line of the channel already. So decided to mark another fib extension to see where the target looks like. That would be from this low to the to the 1-to-1 extension rejection to the lower trend line of the channel. That marked the 1-to-1 of 73, and we did see a rejection from there. However, now the chart is looking relatively strong, because from there we did not see too big of a rejection, and we are holding that 88. So from here, I would anticipate a little bit more upward price action. Gonna have to watch what the market does though. We are repeatedly having trouble around this 1-to-1 extension. Gonna need a clear break. So we're not extended on the daily, a little bit extended on the weekly, but chart can go. Monthly is getting extended. So overall, the chart can run for another month before getting too far extended. Do understand that we are in new all-time high environment on DKNG. Next is, okay, that's it for the top watches. Next up are the requested tickers. First one, PLTR. We covered that. Yes, we did. Okay. And APHA. So PLTR, be patient. APHA, it was a bit too late on this one by the time I saw it. So we entered on, I can't remember, it was one of these 2 days, the hold of the 88. And then right around that 88. And then we saw a breakout. And gap down was a little bit scary. But then we saw continue running. That was good. Then we took profits right under that resistance. Half of it. And then from there, it's sold off, choppy, sold off, and now we're bouncing from what could be a trend line that I wasn't paying attention to. This previous 2 weeks forming a trend line, we are finding support there, both on Wednesday as well as Friday. Now let's zoom into the closer time frames. You see that bounce right there? Yeah. And then, so that basically confirms the potential of the trend line. I was only looking at the 0.382 because it was so perfectly lined up with the 0.382. but didn't realize there was a trend line here. So bounce confirmed that there is a potential trend line there, so drew it, and then we saw another bounce there, but we are still getting rejected from the hourly 8, so chart remains weak. Most ideal entry, I am looking at a back test of the upper trend line of the channel, so we could take a little bit more time to get there. I swear I already extended this out. Gonna be somewhere around there. I want to see most ideal re-entry around that GP trendline confluence. So keeping a close eye on APHA, but gonna be patient on re-entry. PTON, daily, nothing too much happening. You can just see it's chop while it's slowly grinding down. Green, red, green, red, green, red. Wow, oh, that's a lot of green, red. Bull volume is now outweighing bear volume. We are holding that GP, so that is a good sign. This is a potential low, higher low. And from here, we're gonna need to see a break. Well, first of all, follow through Monday, Tuesday, then followed by a break of this previous high 119.12. That would give confirmation of trend change on the daily. PTON is looking like there's a potential, will remain on top watch. This GP hold was key. Monday, if we see rejection from that 88, yeah, that's gonna be a red flag. And next is TDOC. I believe I saw relative strength. Okay, very similar to PTON. Bit of a chop, less of a chop, but another gap down, straight buy up. Whereas, and we are holding that GP. You can see that we didn't close under it. Even the red candle was right on it. So similar idea to PTON. Gonna remain on top watch. Gonna need to see that follow through Monday, Tuesday. Next is plug. How come this chart looks similar to TDOC? Except we are trading under the GP. Yeah, we just gapped straight down. And we've based, there's a chance that we're basing here. So let's see if we can find a zone here. Not too ideal of a zone, because I want to see previous rejections alongside. So if it's here, that would make sense, rejections, but the supports don't make sense. It didn't come back to the rejection area, so it's not an ideal. What about here? Okay, maybe here. You can see rejection here, support, support, gap down, immediately bought up. Came close to the lower zone, but we're finding support in that zone right now. Chart is still weak, unplugged though. We are trading under the daily as well as the GP did not hold on this last bounce. And daily 8 should be a guide. The bull volume is interesting, but not seeing divergences. Chart remains weak. Next, FSR. So FSR is interesting because I called out the head and shoulders pattern. Upon the break of this trend line, this neckline, we will see follow through. So on the day that we broke over the trend line, we saw decent follow through on downward action of 8%. Then from there, we saw a gap down and buy up. And then there's news that came out, multi-year contract, gap up straight into the daily 8, but straight sell off. So that confirms, and this is an increasing bear volume. This one I believe is increasing too. Where's my 16,947, 84947? How come it's showing the same thing? Anyways, it looks increasing to me. So the most recent Thursday, Friday is obviously increasing bear volume. I am anticipating further follow through on FSR, looking at reaction on this for this lower trend line, but head and shoulders pattern is playing out. Would anticipate further downward price action. Next is YouTube request, and we have one YouTube request, BNGO. Oh wait, no, we have two. Almost forgot. All right, BNGO. Relative strength that I'm seeing, it is holding up decently comparing to the market. We are stalling around that 0.382. Remember, on tickers such as this one, don't rush back in. I am seeing a little bit of a stall here, so earnings will determine the direction, and earnings coming up on Tuesday. Remember, this ticker has ran what, 3,000% or something? 3,000%. Don't rush back in. Wait for that earnings. It should give some clear direction. Right now, it's just straight chop. Next is, I don't know if this is the right one, Volkswagen. So it's over the counter. Hey Ferguson, you gotta let me know what the ticker is. Hey, I'm gonna go with this one. It says Volkswagen. It's the only US one that makes sense. The other one's a Vanguard or the Euro traded. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. Let's see what it looks like. Volkswagen. Okay, maybe. Does it look similar? Yeah, let me know which one you're looking at. Which one should we go with? Over the counter or Euro? I don't know if you're trading Euros. I'm gonna go with the US because we mostly discuss US and Canadian. So over the counter. All right. First time taking a look at over the counter stock, to be honest. This volume looks interesting. My goodness, there's so many. Let me turn that off. All right. Huge bear volume, huge bull volume. Candlestick doesn't look so great. It is huge upper wick. Ran too fast, too far, too fast. Volume looks amazing though. So what I would say on this is give it another week or two. Generally, if a chart runs like too far, too fast, you will see profit taking, whether it's, you know, the same week, the same time frame, following another few more kind of thing. It'll come back and then before the actual confirmation. Same as we saw in KOSS and a lot of other tickers. PLTR is still in play right now. So watch for this. See if we hold the daily 8. That would be most ideal for us to hold the daily 8. If it does, then that would be an ideal entry. On the weekly, we haven't touched that weekly 8 in a long time. So this could very well be a breakout fake out. We're going to need to see a touch on the weekly 8 ideally. But it could just, this could be the parabolic run that's already done though. So know that, you know, it's, if you look at this, it is, let's see, how am I going to draw this? It is a parabolic run that could be done from here. So that's why I say give it another week or two. You got to see what the next week or two's price action looks like. If it's going to come straight back down, that's a little bit of a red flag. And then you zoom into the daily, watch what the daily price action looks like. If we're holding the daily 8, that would be most ideal. All right, next is flows. So a few interesting flows. We're going to start covering those instead of some random tickers and whatnot or previous tickers. We're going to be covering flows to see what, because the potential of having better setups there is much more likely versus previous tickers we're looking at and whatnot. So I noticed 4 days in a row, there's been call buyings coming into VXX, volatility play. And I believe this is a 1-to-1, no leverage on it. It's not generally a ticker that I look at, because I look at the VIX, UVXC. Oh, come on, make it easier. Okay. So the low, oh, that would have been a lot easier if I had this on. There we go. 13.15 was a low. Oh, we broke down under. I can see why people there's a flow coming in, hey. See, the last time 59, we did not break down under there. Generally on volatilities, once there's a breakdown, there's a little bit more bleed before the follow through. But the other way to look at it is when there's a breakdown to a new low, it's on volatility plays, it's easier. You know, it's likely that any entry below this breakdown would be winners. You just gotta wait for that pop. So I can't see why there would be flow on VXX. Just depending on how you want to play this. If you want to fully maximize your returns, wait for a sign of bottoming out, and this could very well be the sign of bottoming out, but we are still rejecting from that 88. Regardless, this is a relative spot to start hedging for your bull positions. So I can see why this play, or there would be flows coming into VXX. Next is SOS. Right, so this, as discussed, I'm looking at ABCD pattern potential, similar as KOSS, as long as that 88 holds. And we are going to cover KOSS. I am out of that trade for now. I want to see further price action before deciding going back or not. Anyways, so SOS, A, B, C, oh, no, A, B, I don't know how people say it, but generally this should be C, A, B, C forming a higher low. So there's a potential for a D to the 1-to-1 extension target. SOS chart looks amazing. Volume wise, no major concern. RSIs ready to go. I want that hold of the 88. Next is, we covered Facebook, BIDU. So there's been 2 days back to back of BIDU flow coming in, which is interesting because the chart doesn't look like too much is happening to me. We're trading under that key zone. We did find support at that 230 area. Let's see, does this work? Okay. The two supports here with the breakdown in the middle, and then no other supports. Let's see if this is going to be a key price, notable price to be that BIDU wants to keep. But right now we are still in the downtrend, increasing bear volume, trading under the 88. So chart still looks weak to me. That daily bear divergence, A, B, this could be, there's potential for much further downside on this chart. On BIDU, we've only formed A, B so far. There could be a C. Now you could argue that this is A, this is B. Oh wow, look at that. C, bounce. If you argue that your argument is this is A, this is B, the argument with C that the C has already bounced straight from the 1-to-1 extension target at 230. However, on the daily, you can see that this is basically one price movement down. So this could be the B. If that is the case, that would line up. The 150, the 1-to-1 extension using that theory, A, B, and then C, would line up with the 1-to-2 extension target of the shorter time frame, A, B, C. 150 would be price target on the bear thesis. Bull thesis, I don't see any right now. I guess the bull thesis would be bull divergence. Huge increase and then huge decrease. So that would be the bull thesis. We're gonna have to see what happens around this GP area. All right, next is Twitter tickers. So that's it for the flow. Next is Twitter tickers. MO. I believe it's a break over the trend line. So there was a long-term channel. Why did I not draw it as a channel? Okay, let's do this. Redraw it. Right, so there was a long-term channel that was keeping us down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 supports. And now we're finally breaking over with a break over all trend lines. We broke over the channel trend line, back tested. You can see immediate back test with another back test before a follow through on increasing bull volume. MO looks amazing. On this, we finally broke. Why is this drawn like this? This is weird. Oh, we're stalling right there. Okay, no, we haven't broke yet. So keep an eye on MO. The monthly trend line break is potentially coming up. You can see before was a breakout fake out on the monthly, breakout fake out. So on the daily daily and weekly is not going to look that great because you are going to see close over the trend lines. Yeah, but from a monthly perspective, this chart looks amazing. So from the lows to the high has already been 41%. That's okay. From the current price to the highs, there's another 52%. So risk to reward is not as ideal here anymore. Still ideal. Still ideal for a scalp play. Watch for the break of this trend line. Big bear volume came in on the daily on Friday. Weekly volume looks amazing. Earnings is April 29th, so some time away. We're extended on the weekly. Let's see where the higher low brings us. I'm going to want to see a couple scenarios. First being this one. Second being the back test of the trend line, which would bring us to confluence. GP would begin confluence with the key zone, which we saw multiple rejections here. Rejections here as well, support here, and support. So this is a key zone to watch for. Ideal entry would be right around here. That $45 mark. However, we're going to need to watch for a reaction around 47 first. There's lots of supports on fib wise. For actual support wise, not a whole lot. Yeah, would anticipate a little bit more price. This kind of volume with a reversal candlestick would expect downward price action to come. Ideal entry. I'm going to be adding this to top watch. I want to see what the pullback looks like. All right, next is PM. PM Philip Morris. PM. You can't yeah, there's a rising wedge here. Where is it? Is it a breakout fake out? So it looks like a breakout fake out right now. Huge bull volumes, unable to break over. Because of this, this is now a red flag. Huge bull volume 2 days in a row, unable to break over. Would anticipate a little bit more downward price action on the for that third touch on the lower trend line of the rising wedge. 1, 2, 3. This is the third touch right now on the uptrend line. We're gonna need that third touch on the lower trend line. Generally, rising wedges are a bear scenario, meaning there's a higher chance of seeing a breakdown under versus a breakout. Next one, what are we on? PM DBX. Okay, I'm gonna try to speed this up. Already 45 minutes in. I think we cover what, 20 tickers so far. All right, so gonna try to speed this up. DBX holding that 88, nothing significant on the volume wise. There is a bear divergence that's forming, or that has formed. Bear divergence. I would anticipate further downward price action to come based on this bear divergence. Is a weekly bear divergence. Arguable. Yeah, I can confirm this. I'm gonna confirm this. Okay. Next is M. Macy's. I think it was looking great last week. Yeah, we did break over that. Nice. So we did get that confirmation break of the long-term trend line that's been keeping us down. This chart, whoo, there is so much upside potential on this chart. Oh, big upper wick, increasing bull volume on the weekly. So we ran too far too fast. We're in the overbought territory on the weekly already. There is so much more to come. So holding that 88. Daily is not overbought. Weekly shows that there needs to be a little bit of a pullback to form a higher low. At DOD, I want it to be around the 0.5 area. So it depends on how far and how long it takes. It might. Bears generally are faster, so it could be the 0.382. Actually, let's do this first. 0.382. And then if it's longer dragged out, then we'd be looking at the 0.5. So 1517 would be an ideal entry. Back test of this trend line before the next leg up. Macy's look amazing. Macy's. I'm actually gonna put this right alongside Wayfair. Right, next is, oh, that's it for Twitters. Next is ARK. So ARK trades. We already gone over TDOC. I thought we gone over TDOC. Yeah, we did. So this is broken bear. You see what I mean? Rising wedge being more likely to be bearish. Just broke. This one is just gap down, straight gap down to bear. All right, next is, let's see, TDOC we did. BLI. BLI. Kathy's been buying. Why? It is making a new low. Increasing bear volume. Doesn't interest me. Potential for a bullish divergence to form. There could be a play in there. Now, if you're waiting for that bullish divergence, it'd be something like this. It would be a strong bullish divergence, so it's worth playing the bounce. But based on the volume, it could just continue to bleed. So it doesn't really interest me. There is likely a bounce play in here though. On the new low, daily bullish divergence looks good. Next is AONE. What's with this chart? Very thinly traded, hey? There's days without even any movement. And it's just grinding up along. Whoa, what happened there? How come these two charts are so different? Daily, 8 hours. 8 hours generally is the same as daily. This is so interesting. 12, 15, 12, 16. Am I missing something? Even the closing price is different. Huh. Okay. AONE. Coming right up to that non-ideal trend line. Okay. Another non-ideal trend line. Aside from that, I'm not seeing a clear pattern on this. See huge bull volume pop. And this is what I mean by wait for a few more of those time frame candles. Same time frame, because generally it bleeds out and then you're going to find a bottom. But then you're looking for that follow through. So this chart, I'm not seeing too much of a follow through. So I'm not going to be too interested in this chart. So that's it for. No, let's do one more. ESLT. Ooh. Long-term trend line break. Is there a back test? So if we were to draw it this way. So close. There's been no back test yet. Long-term trend line break. You could say that this was the back test, depending on which trend line you use. Looks like it's a hard ticker to draw. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of upside. 23%. All right, not worth it. Overall, I would say you're going to need to see, there's a potential of forming a wedge right here, right now, from the price action, from the looks of the price action. It's going to be something along that line. There's been 2 touches on both sides already, so there's a potential of forming a wedge before the next leg up. Okay. So I'm going to remove these ones. RBLX. Let's do one more. RBLX. Nice hold of that key IPO rejection. And then the support broke down, and now we're holding it again. Not holding the GP. So price is a bit choppy, especially Thursday's candle. We're going to need to see follow through on Friday. That 88 is showing up, and we are trading under it. KSPI. Trading over the 88. Ascending megaphone pattern. Daily bull divergence that is playing out decently. Wow, this would have been an amazing entry, eh? Right at that lower trend line of the megaphone pattern. More upside potential to come. KSPI actually looks pretty decent. Wouldn't touch it now though. Sort of in the middle of nowhere, no man's land, no trade zone. You would have wanted to get an entry right around here. This, I don't know what happened here, but this touch on the trend line was a beautiful entry with bull divergence on the daily. Next is RPTX. Okay, so essentially we lost the lower trend line, but no follow through. The balance is not great so far. it's more like a bear flag if you look at it. So similar with this one, you know, the balance is not great before next leg down. So chart does not interest me. Would anticipate potential further price action downwards. Huge bear volume too. All right, next is Wall Street bets. First one, as per usual, GameStop. Bull volume clearly outweighing bear volume, but there is wicks on both sides, so there's a bit choppiness. Gonna need to see what earnings brings. That is on Tuesday. Will likely determine the direction. Keep your eyes on it if you are playing it. Keep your eyes on the earnings, I mean. Next is AMC. Since earnings, that big drop, we still haven't touched 88 ever since. As mentioned, AMC is the strongest that I have seen of the 4 that I track. Yeah, roughly 4 that I look at. That AMC is the strongest, is the most likely one to touch that 2371. And now we are still more than 100% away. We're not? 19, 13. Okay, no, less than 100%. 70% away. So AMC, that ABCD pattern, likely to play out. Looking amazing. KOSS. What happened to KOSS? We closed right on the daily 8. So as mentioned in my previous video, that I did not want to see a drop below this 25.23, which lines up with the daily 8. It wicked under, and then I think it just, what happened at the end of the day? Let's see. Okay, so beginning of day on Friday, it wicked under and then got bought up and then slowly sold off again. So still chop zone. Hourly, just slow bleed, but you do see some decent bull volumes. So the play is still intact as long as this daily 8 holds. We're just so smidgenly above it, 15 cents above that we closed on the daily. This daily 8 must hold, whereas the ABCD pattern is negated. All right, next is UWMC. Trading above the daily 8. Huge bear volume. We found the bottom. A, B, C. Potential for ABCD pattern. However, ABCD pattern generally is a continuation pattern of a bull trend, but before this was a bear trend, so not valid. Daily 8 is going to be your guide. In this case, I'm not seeing too much. Daily 8 is your guide. There's straight chop around that too, though. There we go. If you're in bear plays, weekly 8 is your guide. If you're looking for bull plays, weekly 8 is your guide. You're going to need to see that break before confirmation of going in. Next is RKT, Rocket. Right on that, bouncing from the weekly 8. Low bear volume. It actually looks kind of decent. Huge red flag selling all the way back down. What a crazy play. So many people were watching this ticker around this previous breakout fake out, and then people lost sight of it, and it just went 105% and then straight bleed. Not gonna be interesting in this ticker. Especially if the other Wall Street bets are not moving either. The meme stocks are not moving. RKT, I don't imagine would be the first one to move. Next is OI. Oi. All right. There is a rising wedge forming. I'm gonna need more room for this rising wedge. Ooh, choppy chart. Would be hard to trade this chart, this ticker, this name. Okay, so if you look at this rising wedge, breakout, fake out, came down, So there might be a better way of drawing this somewhere around here. There we go. So breakout, fake out, rejection, support, breakdown, fake out, rejection, multiple rejections again before another breakout, fake out, and then support on the lower trend line. Watch the wedge, straight chop name, hard to trade. Not even that much of a movement. Actually, that looks like a 30% movement. 20%. Oh, okay, so very good ticker for scalping. 32%. Just don't get faked out. So the worst part about this ticker would be, you know, you're holding a bear position on this breakout, or you enter somewhere here thinking that it's a breakout fake out, but it ended up being running, keep on running, then you're screwed, right? So just put it simply, you're screwed. So this name is, because of all the breakout fake outs that it gives, it's gonna be harder to trade unless you want to be 1 day late. You know, something like this, you see a bounce starting from the trend line and then you enter the next day on the confirmation. That makes sense. Whereas this one, you know, you see a bounce starting and then next day is sort of like you probably would get chopped up here, no confirmation. Then you enter again on this retouch of the trend line. Next day you see confirmation, close at the high of day. That would be okay. So this ticker is okay to trade for scalping wise. Based on the bear volume, I would anticipate a breakdown coming, increasing, nice bear volume coming in, heading straight towards that lower trend line right after double touch already. Okay, so next is GOEV. GOEV 88 is the support, stalling right around that GP. I don't know if this is a good thing because we are bull flagging right on GP, which is generally considered a resistance, a potential rejection area. And we do see previous rejection as well as support right around that area as well. And see rejection on this candle. It tried to bounce, huge upper wick, then got over it, support, got under it, rejection, 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 got over it, support. So this 1575 is obviously a key price that you want to be watching, and we are seeing multiple rejections here again. So basically we are both lagging right underneath resistance, which is generally a bad sign. We're gonna have to see how this plays out. Bear volume is coming in. I would anticipate downward price action to come. If it does come, GP, most ideal entry, lines up with previous bottom support as a back test. This doesn't look too ideal though. So is there anything around the 0.5? Somewhat. No clear zones. All right, next, EBON. So that's it for Wall Street bets. I'm gonna add GOEV to top watch just to see what the follow through looks like. However, not gonna be. Let's see. What I'm gonna say. Okay. Next is EBON. Oh, okay. EBON potential cup and handle pattern. I believe we haven't discussed this pattern before. And because previously is a bull trend, it would be valid. Now the handle is forming with nice. Why doesn't that look so nice? Anyways. Essentially is still a cup and handle pattern, and now we're seeing a daily bull flag formation, and this is after three nice bull volume days. Huge shot up, huge shot, coming straight back down with no, very low bear volume, and then confirmation. Oh, weekly is getting a little bit extended again. Monthly bull volume are coming in back to back, so this looks nice. EBON gonna be top watch. Let's see a touch of that 88 before the confirmation move going forward. Next is TKAT. What an amazing move. 939% in 3 trading days. I hope somebody caught it. 900, that's almost 10 bagger in the stock itself in 3 trading days. If you were to go 2 more days, that would be 13 bagger on the common stocks alone. 275 to 40.54. TKAT, no bear divergence, holding up nicely even after this spinning top reversal candle. Keep watch on TKAT. Now we're gonna do 2 more. 1 REI. Rejection from the previous high, 330 zone. Daily volume looks great though. Earnings, whoo, bad earnings. Negative 6,150%. Oh, well, that just so happened to work out right at resistance, eh? And now there's a daily bear divergence. Huge daily bear divergence. Would not want to be touching this. But chart actually looks strong considering the daily bear divergence, because we are still holding out fairly well. Stalling around that 88. Weekly is a reversal candle on earnings. No divergence. Monthly looks okay. So there's a chance that this ticker REI is only the beginning of the reversal. Daily obviously reversed. Weekly, we're going to need a higher low before forming a higher high for that actual weekly reversal. So chart looks pretty decent. There's a gap that was left behind. Let's see if it gets filled. If it does, ideal entry would be around that GP. Even if you were to just enter right before the gap, we could just hold right here, the 0.5 area, right around $1.83. I would consider playing this on the more so lotto sizing, YOLO sizing, not lotto sizing. So YOLO is bigger than lotto. YOLO sizing, and just hold it, wait for the confirmation. And last but not least, I want to cover SCORE. Let's see how we've been doing on SCORE. Is that daily inverse head and shoulder play still there? Daily, yep. Daily inverse head and shoulder play is still there, with the neckline being right there. If we were to hold this 0.382 and start reversing Monday, Tuesday, we will be able to see. And if we see continuation, bull volume actually looks great. We're likely to see confirmation Monday, Tuesday. And if that's the case, and we break over this neckline, would anticipate further upside to come. Follow through. SCORE looks amazing. All right, let's do a recap. I'm going to need to mark down. Almost let you guys go before doing a recap again. All right, first one, skills. I'm not going to recap SCORE because it's obviously being a top watch. So skills is one of the top watch. Huge bull volume coming in, holding that GP. Gonna need to see what happens over the next 2 days, but it's gonna be on my top watch. Next is Facebook. Gonna need to break over this trend line, but right now it's in confluence with previous highs, rejection or resistance, and following the break of that, we're gonna be looking at 2 more resistance before new all-time high. It does have relative strength versus other big tech names, so it looks great. ABNB, we are looking for where that higher low is, ideally around the GP before what used to be an inverse head and shoulders, but meaning regardless, even if that we broke over the broke the inverse head and shoulder pattern, there is still potential for a very nice upside move. It is a vaccine play as well to me. And next is MSOS. Head and shoulder pattern. Let's see if there's follow through. Why? Okay, I don't know why this is top watch. If you're playing bears, this makes sense. Neckline being right here. Watch for a break over there. We would see further downward price action if that neckline is to be broken. And PTON potential reversal. Holding that GP, gonna need to see follow through Monday, Tuesday, breaking over that 88. And MO potential bear play right now with that reversal candle, huge bear volume, as well as the trend line rejection, potential rejection that's coming up. Low risk bear play. Watch for where the higher low is. Ideal entry for bull play around 44. And next is TDOC. Similar to PTON, holding that GP. Gonna want to see follow through Monday, Tuesday, breaking over that 88. And then there's EBON. Cup handle pattern, continuation pattern. Gonna need to hold that 88. I want to see a touch before the continuation. The next leg up. EBON looks amazing. And then last but not least is the score. Said I wasn't going to recap it, but might as well. So score, inverse head and shoulder play. We're going to want to see a follow through hold of this 0.382. This is going to be the most bullish case scenario. Volume is there to justify. So keep your eyes on score. All right, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you're looking for that financial freedom and enjoy the content that we provide, please consider subscribing to our channel where we provide new videos daily. And remember, the best compliment you can give is by spreading the word, sharing our channel, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Also, check out our website and Twitter. Website at totalcontroltraders.com and Twitter at _TCTraders_. We offer a subscription model to our trading chat room platform where trading ideas are shared, charts are reviewed live, as well as my personal trade callouts. Last accountability check, semi-monthly, was ended at 90% correct call rate. Hope you guys stay safe and be in control. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.